Well, welcome back, my friends, to another rousing rendition of Choir Boys Outdoors, a Outlaw rendition, if you will. Now, guys, I'm going to give you a lot of looks at the handle and a lot of looks at this knife as we go. This knife was made by Tony Powers. Tony is an avid outdoorsman. He's an outdoors instructor. I believe he taught at the Pathfinder School. Now, here's the deal. If you're new to the channel, let me explain a couple things to you. When I get a knife in, depending on where it comes from, I don't do any research on the designer or the maker. None. Afterwards, I will. Part of the channel is showing you the knife work and with my limited skill set. And that's not self-deprecating. That's just being honest. We're going to talk about that in a minute. I want to give you a look at it. How does it work? How does it flow in my hands? The other part for me is I want to see if I can kind of get into the knife maker's brain or the designer's brain and see how close I can get. Then I go back and look. Now, we don't do any scientific tests. None. If you follow the channel, you know that. We just cut a bunch of shit. What does that prove? Because anybody can sharpen a knife, right? Sure they can. Or have it sharpened, whatever. My thing is what we want to look at is how easy is the knife to use, right? How does it come? Now, this knife came to me via Blackie Thomas. Here's the story as told to me by Blackie Thomas. He was at a gathering with Tony, and Tony said, Blackie, would you mind checking out a knife that I made? And Blackie said, sure, brother, be glad to. And so Tony gave him this knife, the Outlaw, to check out. And when I went to Blackie's a few weeks ago, actually, he said, Scab, would you like to check this out? I said, hell yeah, absolutely. It felt amazing in hand. Now, remember, that's the gathering that I damn near cut my right pointer finger off. And when he handed me the knife, it felt great in hand. Now we're doing some full slicing there, going the entire length of the knife. But the thing is this, bear in mind this, I don't know the steel, and I'm thinking it's wood handles, solid wood handles. I don't know if it's rosewood, I'm not sure what, and I'll do some more research on that. What I wanted to show y'all with this knife is a couple things. One is the handle is absolutely phenomenal. Now, the size, you could compare it to a steak knife. Now, I said that before, and I don't want to go too often to the well with that. I'm talking about length. It feels phenomenal in hand. It is the Outlaw. It is made by Tony Powers. Now, Tony, if you're watching, buddy, if you'll let me know what steel this is and handle material, I appreciate it. And again, it's not trying to be disrespectful on not looking that stuff up. I got the knife and I just wanted to see how it flowed. Guys, before we get into this video, the one thing we always have to do is this. There was a time in this country where 22 vets a day took their own lives. Now, stats are everywhere. We talk about it all the time. We're coming off a weekend, so those numbers are higher. They actually range anywhere between 15 and 29, which anything over 0 is simply unacceptable. And vets, we love you. You have a place here. That's all that means. I back the blue. It's not popular. I get it. I understand it. But here's the thing, guys. I just do. Okay? I don't argue with anybody over it. Not going to. It's one of my causes. My first cause has nothing to do with my second cause. It has nothing to do with this cause as well. If you are an addict, never quit quitting. Man, that's important to me. Hang in there. It may take you several times, but hang in there. And like I said, guys, my causes are my causes. I just believe in having causes for the channel, and those are my 3. For those of you who support them, thank you. For those of you who don't, thank you. Thank you for watching. I appreciate y'all choosing this video to check out. Now, I did some light batoning here. Everybody knows that I'm changing my stance a lot on batoning. See, a lot of times, guys, as a knife / reviewer, whatever you want to call us, demonstrator, pain in the ass, whatever you call us, we get in habits. We get in certain habits, and we do things because it looks good aesthetically, or we're doing this or that. Here's the deal. I am not a big batoner in real life. I do it here because I wanted to check the knife build. This was a knife hand forged by Tony Powers. I'm going to make that clear. So we want to do certain things to check the build, but we don't want to do a lot to damage the knife in the future, right? So just do some light batoning. The thing is this, guys. You see me open with stabbing the tire. What does that prove? Well, give us a look at the build. It didn't chip the tip. The knife didn't break, and that's as much to do with the reviewer as it is the knife. And that's kind of what I want to get into here with this knife. Ease of use. I'm actually holding this knife now as we speak. I've flipped it back and forth from hand to hand. I can tell you this, at 5.5 minutes into this video, Tony Powers is a knife guy. How do you know, Scab? The handle. The handle. I don't give a shit what you make this blade of. I really don't care. I don't care if it's made of unobtainium or magna cut or gold or bronze, whatever. And you can't make a knife. I know. You understand the point I'm making now. If you can't hold on to this sumbitch, it's no good. So as I've gotten older and as my hands have gotten more busted up, the handle means more to me. Now we're just doing a little wire stripping here. Again, we kind of chop the extension cord, see if there's going to be any chips, any rolls, any dings, any dents, none. So that tells me Tony's got his heat treat on. Now this was a used edge. That's important for you to know too. Blackie used this thing, handed it to me. I've used it a lot before I ever shot this video because again, it's one of those knives that you can walk out in the yard and grab a stick and stand there seriously for an hour, hour and a half, just whittling the stick. It's that easy to use. Now, let me give you a few stats on it. The overall length on this knife is right at 9 inches. And I'm pulling these as we speak. Well, it's 8 7/8 inches. I'm pulling these as we speak with a tape measure. So bear that in mind. The blade is 4 3/4 inches with about 4 3/8 cutting surface. The thickness of the blade is going to be right at an 1/8, if not just a hair less. I'd say an 1/8. Let's give it an 1/8. The blade width is 1 3/8 at its widest point. So you've got a really, really slicey blade. Now here's the important part. Here's the part that I like. The handle is 4 1/4 inches long from the top of the scales to the bottom. The inner grip, which is super, super important to me, is 4 inches. So most hands on the planet on that 4-inch grip is going to be able to hold it. And I can hold it very, very comfortably. It's got a choil built in right above the scales. The other thing that I do with these videos, guys, because again, I'm thinking this is some kind of carbon steel, so you'll be able to sharpen it up very good. It is called the Outlaw. It's got a great edge on it. This is steel belted sandblast hose. The thing with this knife is this, guys. I could probably strop this thing and get it just super duper razor sharp. It does have a 90-degree spine. I'm going to show you that in a minute. The thing that I love about this knife is it's comfortable in hand, right? It's easy to use. It's easy to use. Easy to manipulate. You don't have to change your grip a whole lot. You can go from a pinch grip to a fencing grip to a stabbing type grip, flip it over, do any of that you want to do, and it's comfortable in hand. As I've talked through this video, I've sat here and spun this in my hand 4 different ways. Comfortable, no hot spots. That's very important to me. The thing is, and let me give you, I'll tell you what, let me give you a handle thickness. I'm looking right at 7/8. So you got a 7/8 wide or thick blade. The palm swell is right at 1 inch. So you've got a very, very nice, well-rounded, grippy handle that you can just take and your hand locks in. Here we're making some duff with that 90-degree spine. It does it very, very well. And while it is a 90-degree spine, it is not uncomfortable on your thumb when you're in that fencing grip. It handles the job very well. This is a knife that you can take camping, fishing, hunting, bushcrafting, whatever you want to do, right? The thing that I like about it is its size. Now, everybody that watches the channel knows we made our bones on bangers, choppers, big blades. But the more I go, the more I enjoy a knife this size. If you want to look at it from a cooking standpoint, it's super slicey. It's got a nice belly on it. If you want to look at it from a hunting standpoint, it's good for skinning and caping and whatnot. If you want to look at it from a self-defense standpoint, it's light. It has an amazing grip on it. I can grip this thing and I know it's not leaving my hand, right? I know it's not going to slide up. I know it's not going to slide down. I know that I can conceal it easily if I need to. Honestly, guys, I could take and make a sheath that I could slip in my pocket. It's a little big for a pocket fixed blade. But I could also take that same sheath and tuck it on the inside of my belt. I could carry it scalp carry. I could carry this knife in a multitude of ways that's not going to be uncomfortable. Again, the inner grip when I'm locked in. And the thing is, when I cut my pointer finger, right, the finger was just basically sticking straight out. It's still insanely comfortable. Now, the finger's healed up pretty good. I still don't have much use in it. I think I severed a tendon, but the knife is still comfortable. I'm trying to twist it in my hand and I can't. That speaks volumes. A knife guy made this knife. I'm anxious to look Tony up. Check him out. Look him up. Tony Powers. He's on YouTube. I tagged him in the title. Remember this, though, guys. I'm Scab. You're not. Thank you, Blackie. Thank you, Tony. I'm gone, son.